The con artist Nicky Spurgeon goes to a bar in New York City. He spots a pretty blonde named Jess being bothered by a guy. She runs to Nicky's table to seek refuge. They have some drinks and Jess lures Nicky to her hotel room. They start kissing, but suddenly a man bursts in with a gun, claiming to be Jess's husband. Nicky jokes around, but Jess realizes he's onto them. Nicky leaves, but his curiosity pulls him back to Jess. They go for coffee and Nicky shares a family story about a con gone wrong involving his dad and granddad. Jess asks Nicky to teach her the con game, and he agrees, explaining it's all about focus and perception. Nicky heads to New Orleans with his buddy Whore and their team of con artists. Meanwhile, Jess learns more about Nicky, including his gambling habit. She asks Nicky if she can join the team, and he agrees to give her a try. He introduces her to Whore right away, knowing she was coming. Since it's Super Bowl week and the city is bustling, Jess joins them for a practice round. They show her how to pickpocket in the crowded streets. Impressed by her skills, Nicky lets her join the team. They also take her to a hotel casino, revealing more of their tricks like identity theft and credit card fraud. They even show her how they set up fake ATMs to steal PIN codes. Jess meets Nicky's friend Farhad, who's into even more complex schemes. Farhad seems more interested in their operations than Jess, asking Nicky about everything, even if they'll be romantically involved. Despite Farhad's attitude, Jess still finds herself drawn to him. When explaining their operation to Jess, Nicky mentions how they use stolen data in their base and split the profits among the team members. Jess notices a necklace she likes, but Nicky explains they have to sell everything they steal to avoid leaving evidence. When Jess asks about a huge con that could make them rich instantly, Nicky dismisses it, saying they're in a bulk business and big scams are just fantasies. While they're checking bags and counting money, Nicky requests cash to bet on a racetrack. He arranges a place for Jess to stay, but when she asks for a ride, he suggests she take a cab, emphasizing there should be no romantic involvement between them. However, later on they end up being intimate. Jess asks Nicky why some people call him mellow. He explains his dad used to call him that because he thought Nicky was soft like a marshmallow. Nicky believes being too hard can be dangerous in their line of work. The night before their big operation, Nicky congratulates the team on a successful week, raking in $1.2 million. After sending everyone home with the usual promise of their share, Whore hands Nicky the bag of money, making him swear not to gamble with it. Nicky agrees with Jess watching. Nicky and Jess head to a football game, though Jess admits she's not a fan. Nicky makes a game out of making small bets with each other, like guessing if a fan will catch a hot dog or if another will be too drunk for the wave. They even bet on how many men will look at a woman's butt as she walks by. A curious man named Mr. Le joins their game and suggests placing bets on the football game. Jess declines, not knowing much about football, but Nicky accepts. They bet $1,000, but Nicky loses. When Nicky wants to quit, Mr. Lee insists he keeps playing. Reluctantly, Nicky agrees and raises the bet. He keeps losing, and after losing $100,000, Whore practically forces Nicky to stop. As they're leaving, Nicky impulsively bets all the remaining cash, $1.1 million, on a simple high card draw against Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee draws a 5, winning the game. Nicky is devastated when he sees that he's lost everything, and Jess is shocked. Finally fed up, Nicky decides to leave, but Mr. Lee taunts him again. Nicky, feeling challenged, doubles down on the bet. He proposes a new wager. Mr. Lee picks any player on the field, and Nicky will guess who it is. Mr. Lee thinks it's too crazy and declines, but Nicky persuades him by saying Jess will make the choice. Reluctantly, Mr. Lee agrees, and Jess, feeling pressured, picks Farhad, who's wearing a number 55 jersey. To everyone's surprise except Nicky's, it's the correct answer. On the cab ride home with a lot of money, Nicky explains to Jess that this was all part of the plan. He knew Mr. Lee was a big gambler, so he orchestrated events to make him subconsciously pick number 55. As they pull over in the taxi, another car pulls up behind them. Nicky instructs the cab driver to take Jess to the airport, leaving her share of the money with her. He drives off without saying another word, leaving Jess feeling confused and heartbroken. 3 years later in Buenos Aires, Argentina, Nicky is working with a billionaire race car owner named Rafael Gara and his partner Owens. They possess a revolutionary fuel burn algorithm that will give them an edge in the upcoming season. However, Rafael worries it might not be enough, so Nicky is tasked with posing as a disgruntled former employee and selling a fake version to their competitor, Michan. This slows down the competition while they speed up. At a party in Rafael's mansion, Nicky pretends to drink alcohol to blend in but secretly sticks to water due to his alcoholism. He talks with the guests but freezes when he sees Jess coming down the stairs in a stunning dress. She kisses Rafael, which upsets Nicky. Jess reassures him she's moved on. Nicky, feeling dejected, tries to drink vodka but gets water instead as another bartender knows about his problem. After getting drunk on Appletinas, Nicky plays his part as a disgruntled employee. Instead of shoving Raphael as planned, he punches him in the face, releasing his pent-up anger from being with Jess. After Owens escorts Nicky out, he's approached by McCann's guard and given McCann's credentials, inviting him for lunch the next day. During lunch with McCann, Nicky finds it hard to concentrate as he's irritated by Jess flirting with Raphael. They plan to reconnect later once they have definitive proof of the fuel-burning algorithm's authenticity. Nicky approaches Jess while she's away from Raphael and warns her not to trust him. Jess questions why she should trust Nicky after he left her behind, tossing him his wallet as she walks away, hinting that she's still playing her game. Ricky strikes a deal with McCann for €3 million after data shows Nicky's fake algorithm is credible. Nicky spends a lot of time trying to get closer to Jess, using tactics like pretending to be an old granny who lost her handbag just to talk to her. Jess plays along with Nicky's advances, but just before a kiss, she whispers softly that she's learned a lot since they last met and won't fall for his tricks again. As a last resort, Nicky brings in Farhad to convince Jess to give him a break. He apologizes for New Orleans and gives her the necklace she had her eye on 3 years ago. Nicky manages to have another conversation with Jess, confessing that he hasn't worked in years because it didn't feel right, even turning to his father for help. Jess gets straight to the point, asking what he wants from her. Nicky claims he's changed, but Jess finds it hard to believe given his fraudulent past. She leaves, but when Nicky returns to his hotel suite, he finds Jess waiting outside. They make love, and the next morning, Nicky tells her he's leaving that night and wants her to come with him. However, Owens shows up at Nicky's door, interrupting their moment. Despite Nicky's attempts to get rid of him, Owens walks in, complaining about Nicky's lack of progress on the job. Jess hides on the balcony, managing to evade Owens until he leaves after dropping off a package. Nicky ends up selling Raphael's real algorithm to McCann and every other race team for the same price, earning about €27 million in cash. Nicky wishes them all luck, but they respond sarcastically, implying they don't need luck with a friend like him. Nicky receives word that he's been found out, but he hesitates to leave without Jess. With time running out, he grabs his bags and opens the door to find Jess arriving late, followed by one of McCann's guards who seems suspicious. After a quick meal, Nicky checks his watch, buckles up, puts on protective gear, and floors the gas pedal only to crash into Nicky's car. Jess and Nicky are kidnapped and taken to one of Raphael's warehouses with duct tape around their mouths. Here's a spy in McCann's company, keeping an eye on Nicky. Raphael confronts Nicky, revealing that he knows Nicky sold the real algorithm to McCann for $3 million, but there's $27 million in his bags, suggesting he sold it to everyone. Raphael demands to know how Nicky got the real algorithm, and he holds Jess's nose until Nicky starts talking. Nicky finally admits that he used Jess, planting a bug on her necklace to intercept Raphael's computer password. Jess starts crying, but Raphael realizes Nicky's lying and removes the tape from her mouth. She confesses that Raphael isn't her boyfriend, she just wanted his watch, worth $200,000. She never slept with him despite his advances. Jess did all this to make Nicky jealous and seek revenge. Nicky decides to tell the truth, but before he can, Owens shoots him in the chest, shocking everyone. However, Owens aimed carefully to avoid major arteries, and he saves Nicky's life by removing the blood from his lungs. Owens then reveals himself as Nicky's father, Nicky Spurgeon, and explains they performed the Toledo panic button scam. The package Owens left Nicky was the real algorithm. Owens drives Nicky and Jess to the nearest hospital, reminding Nicky of their previous conversation about putting his heart into the con game. Owens decides to take all the money. Jess helps Nicky walk to the hospital entrance, where he notices she's wearing Gara's watch on her wrist, and the movie concludes. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this.